Alright guys, I am back with my review of this week's TNA Impact Wrestling for January 17th, 2013, the big wedding of Bully Ray and Brooke Hogan. I'm just going to get right into this one. What a waste of money this entire thing was. That's all I have to say about it. But I guess we'll see how it did in the ratings. So we see Spike Dudley and Tommy Dreamer arrive for the wedding, which was kind of weird since Dreamer was just on WWE a few weeks ago. But Brooke's getting her hair did, and Tess Mocker asks if Hawk's going to show up, and the other girls are like, shh. And Brooke says, I don't know. So Jeff Hardy comes out and says that Austin Aries and Bobby Roode are two of the best wrestlers on the planet, but he still won the match. He's still champion. Thankfully, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian come out, and Kazarian says Daniels will beat Hardy. Daniels says that he beat AJ, he beat James Storm, and he didn't need creatures to do it. So Hardy wants to fight now, and they beat him up. James Storm runs out to make the save. He challenges them to a tag match, and they all start fighting. And James Storm was on the outside of Christopher Daniels. I don't know if anybody else saw this, but he threw a punch, and Christopher Daniels totally no-sold this punch. I mean, he just gets right back in the ring like nothing happened. I watched it back a few times, but yeah, he did the whole punch thing, and Daniels just went and got in the ring. Oh, man, which really sucks because you know there were people right there who saw the whole thing, but they start fighting. Storm dives on Daniels. He starts selling a knee injury. Hardy hits a twist of fate on Kazarian for the win. Afterwards, Christopher Daniels attacks him. He hits Angel's Wings on Hardy on top of the title and holds up the world title. The gut check judges are talking about Jay Bradley and Brian Cage. Pritchard is about to tell us his pick, and it cuts away. No! I must know his pick. How about neither? I mean, it's not like we're going to see either guy again anyways. So, Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer, Spike Dudley are getting dressed. Joseph Park comes in. He brings Bully some Cubans, K-Fab. Gut check for Jay Bradley and Brian Cage. Pritchard says Cage is eliminated. Jay Bradley has to cut a promo. Taz says no. Al Snow says yes. Pritchard says yes. And I was looking at Jay Bradley's jacket, and on the back it said Lonesome. And I was like, holy shit, I've seen this guy. I did a review of Resistance Pro, like the first episode of the show they did. And he was on that. And he was actually pretty good. So I'm glad they said yes to him, but at the same time, it doesn't matter because we're never going to see him again. But yeah, this guy is pretty good. So Christian York versus Kenny King. King wins by rolling Christian York up and holding the tights. It was an okay match. There really wasn't much to it. It was short. Backstage, Bully asks Sting to talk to Hulk. Sting says he will try. Austin Aries and Bobby Roode are arguing about who screwed who. They decide to be on the same page. They both object to the wedding, and they decide to crash it. Hulk arrives in the parking lot. The cameraman asks if he's coming for the wedding, and Hulk says, find something better to do. Taz shows up to get ready for the wedding. They joke about Paul Heyman. In 5 minutes, this was so lame. These old guys, this was just painful to watch. I was a huge fan of ECW. I did a video, I think it may be in my movie review playlist, of all my wrestling DVDs. And I don't really have a lot of DVDs, but I got a lot of old ECW VHS tapes. Huge fan. Big fan of the Dudleys. I liked Taz when he was the champion. FTW and all that stuff. But this shit is so old now. It's just sad to see them keep bringing it back up. It's like, we get it. You were in ECW. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't care for that at all. Especially when we know Paul Heyman's in WWE and they're like talking about him, just calling him Paul, and they expect all the casual fans to know instantly who they're talking about. So Sting comes out. He has Hogan come down. He says he always does the right thing. I couldn't actually see the whole promo. My TV started doing one of those public service announcements or something for the weather, and it cut off on the DVR, so it didn't record this part, but I saw the end. Hogan says he does the right thing. Whatever. Gail shows Taryn Terrell the footage of her getting her foot under the rope. Taryn says she's getting another number one contenders match against Velvet tonight, and she's going to call it right down the middle. We see Bully's bachelor party. Now, this here, I read online, may have been a typo. I hope it was a typo. That they hired 75 girls for this. And if that's true, all I have to say is, for what? This whole thing was maybe a minute tops. Tops. And it was stupid. It was Bully with some strippers sitting around him, and at one point he curls one of them. That was it. That was the entire bachelor party that they kept promoting all week. Gail versus Velvet Sky. Maybe they wanted like fans to come or something and nobody showed up. I don't know. Gail versus Velvet Sky. Gail hits Eat Defeat, but Velvet gets a foot under the rope. Gail gets in Taryn Terrell's face because she sees the foot this time. And Velvet hits her with a facebuster, gets the win. I don't know if they're going to do a Velvet Sky, or not Velvet Sky. I always screw these names up. Gail Kim versus Taryn Terrell feud, maybe? It kind of felt like they were going in that direction. I don't know. It could be interesting. Dixie tells Brooke her father loves her, blah, blah, blah. Roode and Aries come out, and Aries says there was a time you could be proud of the champions in this company. But now it feels like the company's 10 years in the past with champions like RVD, Devon, Chavo and Hernandez, and Jeff Hardy. And I was like, damn, when you put it that way, that's pretty scary. I mean, look at their champions right now. It's like, what are they thinking? So Chavo and Hernandez come out, and they say they object to these statements. Aries and Roode make fun of them, call them wedding caterers. They attack them. Hernandez gets ready to powerbomb Aries, and Roode saves him. I really like this team. I know a lot of people are kind of against Bobby Roode and Austin Aries because they're kind of making them funny, like Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. But I'm really liking this. And as I've said before, one of the only things I still care about on this show is Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. And right now, Austin Aries and Bobby Roode are pretty great too. So Hogan tells Sting that it's not about Bully. It's about protecting Brooke from this business. Sting says maybe Hogan's been blinded by the business. And he needs to walk Brooke down the aisle. Hogan says he always does the right thing again. The wedding. So Hawk walks her down the aisle. Big surprise. Long story short, they both say I do. Taz stops Bully. And he says, now hold on a second. Are you sure you want to do this? And Bully's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm getting married right now. And Taz is like, I don't care about that. Are you sure you want to do this? Then he says, is it hot in here? He takes his jacket off, and he's wearing an Aces and Eights vest. I gotta admit, I was surprised. Aces and Eights attack the ring, lay out everyone. Mike Knox and Luke Gallows are being really disturbing, holding Brooke, making her watch. And that was it. That's how the show ended. So, a few things about this. First of all, this is the first time the Aces have actually attacked Bully Ray. So I don't know what this means for him joining them in the future. And I'm not sure if Anderson was even out there. But this is the first time they've actually hurt Bully Ray. So maybe TNA decided against having Bully join. Or this is just to throw people off of the swerve so that when he joins it's a bigger surprise. I don't know. This is all ridiculous. But this is the first time they actually attacked Bully Ray. I believe. But another thing. Why Taz? Why Taz? What is he going to bring to the Aces and Eights? I can barely stand him on commentary, and now I'm going to have to watch him in segments, cutting promos, and those weird backstage clubhouse segments. Oh my god, this is going to be terrible. And he's just another guy who can't wrestle. So, if all the rumors are true, and D'Lo Brown is the vice president, then you have two guys who won't be wrestling. What the fuck are they thinking with this? This is going nowhere, and at this pace, it's never going to end. I mean, they're going to keep revealing lame members that no one cares about, and if they do care about them, they can't wrestle. So yeah, while Taz was a surprise, It's a shitty surprise. And I know people are going to be like, oh man, you didn't see it coming. I mean, this was awesome. I don't know how anybody could say that. This is terrible, and it's going to lead nowhere. Actually, you know what? There is one positive thing about this. Taz won't be on commentary anymore. So anyways, this week's episode, I knew wasn't going to be that great because of the wedding. And I knew they were going to put a lot of focus on this, and TNA's going to waste a shitload of money doing this thing. And they did. So this wasn't a great episode. There really wasn't anything special on here except for the wedding, and I personally don't care about weddings. I don't care about them when WWE does them or when any other company does them. I don't even know if any other company has done them, but they're always a bad idea. I don't like them. I'm curious to see how it does in the ratings, but I don't think it's going to do anything. I think TNA is going to get the same rating they always get. So anyways, that's my review of this week's episode. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave your thoughts on this week's episode in the comments, and thanks for watching.